What's up guys, Blake here at Vivid Racing, and today we are going to be going over the Porsche 991 platform. As many of you know, this is an awesome platform that has unlimited potential that can certainly be achieved with an ECU flash. The 991 platform overall is absolutely one of our favorites here at Vivid Racing and through VR Tuned, obviously. You know, whether it's ranging from the 991.1 GT3 RS that our owner had for many years that we got to spend a lot of time with, or, you know, moving up to the 991.2 Turbo S and GT2 RS, these platforms are unreal. I mean, the amount of potential they have in a stock platform, and then of course coupled with modifications and tuning, there's just so much that can be done depending on, you know, what the end user is trying to accomplish, whether it's going to be a daily driver, you know, just kind of sports car out on the roads, or if it's going to be, you know, weekend warrior track car and autocross and, you know, circuit events, things like that, or even, you know, full-blown roll racing. This, you know, there's within the 991, there's a platform that will support basically any of that. And then kind of going back into the, you know, the Turbo S and those models, they can really kind of support the bill for all of it. So it's a very impressive platform that can be widely used throughout motorsports.
All right, Blake, so what kind of supporting mods are needed for tuning, including stages?
Yeah, so it really just comes down to what your goal is going to be with the car. Realistically, with ECU tuning, we can range anywhere from bone stock to full bolt-on application. Like I said, it really depends on the goal. For guys that are just daily driving the car, basic supporting mods such as like high flow drop-in filter, catback exhaust, things like that are popular. They work really well. The 991 platform, you can also upgrade intercoolers. That's a phenomenal option, especially if you're in warmer environments like we are here in Arizona. You're going to pick up a huge benefit from that. In regard to full motorsport applications, something that's not going to be a DOT like daily driven street car, we can provide full bolt-on tuning. This is going to require downpipes, intercoolers, throttle body, basically every bolt-on that's going to optimize performance. With these supporting mods, we can obviously make the tuning more aggressive, higher boost levels, more aggressive timing. This is basically going to just provide the maximum on the stock fuel system. So this is a great option for guys that are, you know, weekend warriors going to roll race events, track days, things like that.
So when it comes to tuning itself, what are some additional options that the end user can choose?
Yeah, so there is quite a few cool things that we can apply. Most commonly, pretty much anybody that wants to tune their vehicle that's, you know, tracking the car and going after performance and things like that, they want to remove the top speed limiter. That's a simple process. We can certainly delete that and turn that off. In addition to that, we can apply certain features such as pops and bangs or burble tuning. This is a feature that's going to give basically a pretty dramatic sound on decel. With the right exhaust system, you're going to see pretty good flames, things like that. So it's a very popular feature. You can see it throughout YouTube. We actually have plenty of videos on this on our VR Tuned YouTube channel. So yeah, we can do that. We can accommodate other modifications, you know, like we talked about, such as downpipes, things like that for motorsport use only. And then, you know, there's other things as well that can be done. Some of the vehicles, depending on what models or submodels, there is an auto start stop system that comes factory on the car. This is something that we can disable, as it is, you know, pretty annoying for most of us that are drivers or that are actually into their car for performance. We don't want it turning off at every light, especially if you live in hot environments such as Arizona.
So how will this affect the car's drivability?
This is kind of a wide question because it all basically comes down to what the customer is looking to get out of the car with their tune. We can provide various adjustments and calibrations, you know, whether it is going to be a track car that is going to be, you know, on a circuit or in autocross events, things like that. You're obviously going to want excellent throttle response. If it is a higher power car such as the Turbo S's and GT2s and stuff like that, obviously we're going to want to pull back some of that torque and initial throttle response at the bottom end to maintain a more linear power curve, make it a little easier to drive, you know, on corner exits, things like that. But then in hindsight too, when it comes down to actually, you know, guys that are just wanting to have a very responsive vehicle through throttle mapping and stuff like that, we can basically just create a one-to-one throttle response, make it much more responsive, kind of drifting away from just throttle response itself. There's a lot of other benefits. Through adjustments, shifting is greatly improved as well. Low to mid-range power curves are broadened and turned up, and then of course our top end is significantly improved.
Now, what kind of power increases can we expect from an ECU flash alone?
This is pretty subjective to what 991 platform we are talking about, just because You know, there's quite a few in the 991 and 991.2 lineup. However, you know, whether it's the original 991 naturally aspirated setups, we're going to see gains, you know, anywhere in between 20 and 25 horsepower. And then, you know, ranging all the way up to the 991.2 Turbo S and GT2 RS is where we're seeing gains of 150 horsepower and almost 200 foot-pounds of torque. So it's very substantial for turbo cars, provides massive benefit, tons of unlocked potential, but at the same time, you know, it's still very worth tuning the lower power NA cars, as it will greatly improve, you know, the drivability, the low to mid-range, things like that.
So how do supporting mods really increase the power of the vehicle, or do they do anything at all?
Just to kind of give everybody a rundown on this that doesn't know, this is something important that people should understand with newer modern EFI cars and obviously turbo cars as well. Basically, you're not going to get much of a benefit, if any, sometimes a negative effect, when applying bolt-on supporting mods to these vehicles without tuning. So this is something that should be paired. You're going to get a much larger benefit from just a tune file itself with no supporting mods than you are supporting mods without tuning. In regard to the supporting mods, there's a lot of value there when paired with the proper tune. You know, this could take a gain, let's say, like, we're just going to talk about like a 991.2 Turbo S. This car can produce like a 90 to 120 horsepower gain with just software, where we can pick up at least another 50, 60 wheel horsepower on just downpipes.
What is the total increase with supporting mods and the tune?
There's a lot of factors involved with that, such as like the fuel grade, where we're at, temperatures, things like that. In reality, like I said, you're going to pick up another 20 to 25% horsepower and torque increase with a full bolt-on application over, you know, something that's just a mild upgrade.
Are there any cons or negatives to tuning this software?
Yes, this is obviously a very popular question. Again, I mean, it really comes down to the tune, how aggressive the tune is, or who has created the tune. If the tune is created properly, time's been put in, it's, you know, the cars have been thoroughly data logged, and it's a well-designed map, there shouldn't be any cons, aside from maybe reduced MPG under wide open throttle, which is pretty obvious, but we've even seen gains of like 5 to 8% increase MPG when naturally driving the vehicle with the tune software. In regard to reliability or durability of the stock powertrain and things like that, people need to understand that these cars are so detuned from the factory that there is a lot of untapped potential that these chassis and powertrains can handle. So in turn, our tune software is nowhere near a threshold that should be, you know, concerned with damage or reliability. It's something that we just haven't run into. We don't have failures. Yeah, so in turn, the tune software is well within the OEM thresholds. You know, even with the increased boost pressures, really hot, hard track days, things like that, this is something that's not going to create an issue. Something else that needs to be noted is all of the factory fail-safes within the ECU are still in place. None of that's removed. So the car is still going to, you know, pull timing and reduce boost if it sees, you know, a poor fuel quality or temperatures that are not ideal for making big power. So there really isn't, you know, any risk to applying the tune.
Overall, what are the full benefits of tuning the 991?
Within tuning the 991, there are definitely a lot of benefits. Right off the bat, obviously, increased performance, horsepower, and torque. That's what everybody wants to hear about. Everybody cares, you know, about numbers. It's going to obviously increase your horsepower and torque substantially. In addition to that, we kind of went over a lot of benefit is within throttle response, improved low to mid range. On top of that, the additional features that we can apply that we went over, that's something huge. And then, of course, the ability to support those supporting mods with tuning to get the maximum out of the car. So yeah, I mean, within that, there is a lot of benefit there. Also, the benefit to be able to set the car up for what the end user is looking to do with the car. That's also a huge benefit. So in turn, something that people should know is our platforms, the way that we're doing this with our OBD2 tools and stuff like that, the car can always be returned back to stock at any time. And within that as well, these tools will store multiple maps. So we can provide, you know, different fuel levels, different modifications, things like that. And it's as easy as sending, you know, an email to you guys to provide the tune software. All right, guys, that wraps up our video on the 991 Porsche platform. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to contact us at tuning@vividracing.com. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you at the next one.